What's up, everybody? Pete with Auto Repair Tips. Working on the 16 Chrysler 200. Customer's biggest complaint is she's driving along, she's hearing brake noise, the front end feels like it's out of alignment, and she's hearing some rattling. So let's take this thing for a test drive and see what we got. Oh yeah, we are rocking now. Not listening to that. The brake pedal's nice and high. I'm not hearing any squeaking. I'm wondering what time of day she's hearing it, because sometimes in the morning if there's dew outside or it's a little bit of moisture, sometimes you'll hear your brake squeak in. Sounds pretty good. I mean, drives pretty good too. I'll tell you what, let me get up to about 55 miles an hour, then I'll hit the brake and let's check the steering wheel out and see what it does then. Nothing, that feels good. I feel a little bit of pulsing in the brake pedal, not much, so I think I'm going to start in the rear. So let me get it back and let me at least look at the rear first and see what's going on back there. Rule of thumb, if you're coming down off a high acceleration and you hit the brakes, your steering wheel normally shakes if it's the front. If it's the rear, your brake pedal pulsates. I felt it more in the brake pedal, so I'm going to start in the rear. As for the alignment, that felt pretty good. I didn't feel it pulling hard left or pulling hard right. But I'm going to check out the front suspension anyway, just to give her a peace of mind, but I'm sure that's going to be okay. It looks like the brake pad has plenty of meat left on it, but I'm gonna pull it off and check it, because when I see this type of wear on a rotor, that's usually a good indication that the pads have some stress cracks in it from being overheated. A lot of times when you're taking off a caliper, that back nut will spin on you. I find it easier just to get needle nose vice grips, clamp it on, and take it off. If you look, there's blue Loctite on this, so make sure you go back with blue Loctite. A lot of times people skip that step of putting Loctite on these, but you know, it's a good practice to get into. Man, I've never heard so many damn noises. Working on the railroad tracks, buses, freaking trains, garbage trucks. I apologize for all the noise. So I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but if you look right here at the brakes, you can see small stress cracks. Got some here, got some along down here, and on the back side, only half the pad is hitting. Just the middle half is not even hitting on the outer half. Let me go ahead and mic this rotor out. I looked up the specs and it said it should be 12 millimeters, and we're at 11.71. Let me check it now for out around this. So looking at the gauge, this rotor's not even out around. The needle doesn't even move at all. My recommendation to her is going to be a set of pads, and let me just clean up the rotors, and I believe that's all she's going to need. Let's go ahead and check the front and make sure we have no issues up there. So looking at the front brakes and rotors, they look pretty good. I don't see anything really out of the ordinary here. There's a few little scuff marks on the rotor, but it's not enough to matter really. I'm gonna check the thickness of this brake pad real quick and see where we lie with this. We're sitting at about 5/32, but I was noticing one thing. So I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but if you look right up inside here, it does look to me like there's some rust buildup in there. I want to pop this caliper off and let's take a look in there. But here's your brake noise right here. So looking at the thickness, the front side I measured, that was 5/32. The back side is way under that. Back side measures out under 2/32. So technically that doesn't even pass state inspection. And this is the noise that she's hearing. That's a wear indicator and it's just starting to rub. Not sure if you can see it or not, but it's just starting to rub. Looking at the rotors, they're fine. They're plenty thick. There's nice wear pattern on it. When I stopped off a high speed, like I said earlier, it didn't shimmy at all. The only thing I felt was that pulsating brake pedal. And to fix that, we're gonna put pads on it and clean the rear rotors. So I'm gonna work some prices up and give the customer a call and see what she wants to do. Catch you in a bit. So a company called Orion Motor Tech sent me this tool. Works off of air. It's supposed to help out with the brake calipers when you're putting them back in. It's supposed to be able to hit the button like this and just slowly turn it, and it keeps pressure on it for you. We just got the front and rear pads in from Advanced Auto Parts. Neither Advanced or CarQuest sponsored this video. The rear pads didn't come in a hardware kit, but what we got's gonna be okay. I'm just gonna clean them up and grease them up. Customer declined servicing the rotor. I just cleaned it up just a little bit with some paper. Get your brake clean, clean it up really good. Don't forget to put your brake caliper grease on. Check your slides, make sure they work. Everything feels good. Same thing for the front. Clean them up really good. Just like the rear, once you get them clean, just dab some grease in there. Slides look good. Let's get the brakes on. You don't see this every day. Most of the time you order brake pads, they come with the wear indicator already on it. These didn't. You got to put them on, and I guess that's, you know, probably save them a buck or two by doing it. But they send you 3 because they figure you're gonna screw one up. So what you want to do is, this brake sits like that, that sits like that. You want to put it in the same spot. Put them in the hole and slap them on. And just like the front, line the tabs up and put it in. I have a tool that'll push the piston in, but not everybody has one. So if you're at home, put the pad like that, grab a pair of vice grips. Everybody has vice grips, and squeeze away. When I'm pressing in calipers, I don't open the bleeder valve simply because 9 out of 10 people never check their brake fluid, and as your brake wears, that fluid gets lower in the reservoir. So when I push the brakes back in, you're just filling the reservoir back up. I can honestly say, in 40 plus years of doing brakes, I've only had to come out of the reservoir a handful of times. and I have done a lot of brake jobs. But if you're one of them people who constantly fill your brake fluid up and you do your brake job at home, make sure you crack your bleeder valve. Well, I can't stress this enough, and I try to say it on every time I show you guys how to do brakes on different cars. Once you do your brake job, please make sure you pump your brakes up before you put it in gear and go somewhere. Because if you hop in that car, start it up and throw it in gear and back up, you're gonna run into somebody. You're gonna have to pump your brakes at least 4 or 5 times to build the pressure back up. I got the left side finished up. The right side is just a rinse and repeat. Once I get it done, we'll go for our test drive. So we're test driving the Chrysler 200. And for those of you wondering, I did check the rotor on the other side. It was plenty thick and it wasn't out of round. When I hit the brake now to come to a stop, the pedal feels nice and good. It's not vibrating up and down. The noise she was hearing was coming from the front. The wear indicators were just barely touching, and that's that scraping she was hearing. But everything is good to go now. That is it for this video. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Catch you later.